Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about former routes located at London Central's Camberwell bus garage. So I guess that's all the explanations about this. So we did current routes in the last episode. So with that in mind, let's just continue from where we left off and do former routes. Okay, let's be fair, there isn't much to say about this route. This route has just been using a rake of double-decker buses when it was operated by London Central. The route was eventually transferred to Arriva on the 11th of November 2017. This route was operated at Camberwell Garage for a total of 12 years. During this time, the allocation of buses would change and it would be operated with just some regular old buses, and then when it passed to Arriva on 31st of March 2018, it ended up using, out of all things that we love, Morris buses. Considering that Route 345 was only allocated to Camberwell for just about 3 years and 11 months, about that average time, I think that this route is pretty good having operated there. This route constantly was operated by London Central at both New Cross and Peckham garages, so they'll fall under former routes allocated there, but this route ended up being transferred to Belvedere and Malenda Way. This route is firstly the one that has had the most hit and miss allocation. This route was once allocated at London General's, one of London General's garages, and this route had been operated for London Central's Camberwell garage for a couple years before being transferred to Metrobus's Croydon garage, which we'll cover, not sure when. This route is one of the longest routes out there. This route operates between South Croydon and Elephant and Castle, and the operation was at Camberwell Garage until about till March 2018. This route is 19 miles long, so when it was set up in 1999, it probably cracked the top 10 longest bus routes in London. We almost missed this one. Route 432 was operated oh my god, I didn't check. I forgot. Well, anyway, this route did operate at some point, but I forget when it passed. I believe it passed to Arriva, but then it ended up passing. I really lost this one. I just came into this one unprepared because I didn't think 432 was operated at Camberwell Garage. Right, so we've put 507 and 521 together for this one. These two routes have identical allocations, so hence why. These two routes have only been partly allocated to Camberwell during their time, and the Camberwell allocation was withdrawn on the 28th of August 2021. I just lost what I was going to say there. So basically, these two routes became the first routes to have battery electric buses in London. Now, these two routes are also the only two Red Arrow routes that are branded as Red Arrow. Here we have a route that was allocated for exactly 6 years. This route was 624 was allocated from 1st of September 2014 when the Malenda Way garage was coming to an end and its closure had begun, and so it was transferred to Camberwell, but then at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, it was barely noticeable until 1st of September 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic transferred this route to Bexley garage. Even if the allocation of this garage at Camberwell was overshadowed by the coronavirus, it is a worthy mention of a school route in this video. Much like the 624 that was also allocated to Camberwell for 6 years, Route 658 was also allocated to Camberwell, but only the allocations that was transferred from Malenda Way garage. This route has the same protocol. I suppose this route speaks for itself and why it hasn't been operated at Camberwell. Probably the longest that a route has been retained by London Central. When this route started operating in 1990, it was operated by London Central from their Camberwell garage, and during this time, the amount of years that it has been operated at this garage would grow at a steady pace, and it wouldn't be until the 2nd of May 2020 where it would pass to Arriva London. This route has been operated at Camberwell for 30 years straight, so they should have really retained it, to be honest. Okay, so just ignore the facts that I've used a Belvedere bus for this. There was no images of a London Central bus from Camberwell on Route N35. Anyway, this route did pass to Belvedere, as you can see, but then when it returned to this route would be withdrawn as Route 35, the daytime equivalent, would become a 24-hour route when it returned to London Central, operating from their Camberwell garage. We featured current routes in the previous episode, so watch that one if you haven't already. This route is the route that is still the only one that night route that was allocated to this garage that is still existent. This route was operated at this garage from 1st of April 2006 to the 31st of March 2018. During this time, the route it's also worth bearing in mind that the route does not have a daytime equivalent of the X68. Its only daytime equivalents are routes 68 and 468. But with that in mind, this sums up former routes operated at Camberwell. Next time we're going to be doing Modern Wharf. Then after that we'll be doing New Cross. Then we'll be doing Peckham. Modern Wharf is probably not going to have many former routes, thanks to the because it only opened in Modern Wharf Garage only opened in 2017. And that's all from me for this particular video. Thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.